There are pains that don't show on the surface. There are wounds that don't make a sound. And there are early signs of depression that creep in quietly like a cold wind, unseen by others, but deeply felt by you. Depression doesn't always start with tears. Sometimes, it begins with the smallest shifts, changes so subtle that you overlook them until it's too late. In this video, we'll walk through 5 early warning signs of depression, not to scare you, but to help you recognize them, to understand yourself better, and, if needed, to begin the journey of healing. 1. Everything starts to feel meaningless. When the first signs of depression appear, you might notice something strange. Everything you used to love, everything that once made you excited, energized, now feels oddly empty. You might not realize it right away. You still go through the motions, still laugh with friends, still work, still show up for life. But deep down, there's a subtle numbness rising within you. It's like a hollow space, a silence too heavy to put into words. Things around you may seem normal, but they no longer feel alive. The joy, the spark, the thrill, they've faded. You no longer feel drawn to the things that once set your soul on fire. So are you sad? Maybe not. You're not invisible pain. You're not crying on the floor. But this numbness, this lack of feeling, is perhaps more dangerous. Because you start to wonder. Can I feel anything at all? Everything feels dull. You feel detached from life, as if you're running a race, but you don't even know what you're running toward. This is easy to miss, because you're still functioning. But the emotional disconnect is a subtle, yet significant sign of depression. Your heart no longer leaps at joy. Your mind no longer looks forward with hope. And in that stillness, you're slowly losing connection with yourself. 2. The things you once loved, now just feel like chores. Think back. There were things you used to love so deeply, just thinking about them made your heart beat faster. Maybe it was writing a few lines in your old journal. Maybe it was spending hours sketching, composing music, working on a personal project, not for anyone else, but because it made you feel alive. But one day, you realized it's been a long time since you touched any of it. Not because you're busy. Not because you don't have time. But because you no longer want to. The excitement is gone, replaced by a strange indifference. You might still be doing those things, but from a version of yourself that no longer feels lit up inside. Everything turns into a checklist of things to get done, instead of joys to look forward to. You procrastinate. You avoid. You wonder why the passion is missing, and then blame yourself for being unmotivated. But the truth is, this isn't laziness. It's a sign that your emotional energy has been drained. Sometimes, depression doesn't knock loudly. It slips in by quietly stealing the small joys. It doesn't destroy you all at once, it wears you down, piece by piece. And the things that once made you say, "This is who I am," now feel like burdens. You start asking, what have I lost? Have I lost myself? Sparkles, shift gently into a tone of empathy. If you're feeling this way, don't rush to get your spark back. Instead, ask yourself gently, what part of me needs to be heard, needs to be healed, before I can feel joy again? 3. Sleep is no longer a place of rest. For someone mentally well, sleep is a sanctuary, a time for the mind to unwind, the body to recover, and worries to melt away into the night. But when the early signs of depression creep into your mind, sleep turns into a battle. Sometimes, you can't fall asleep. You lie there in the dark, your body exhausted but your mind racing. Endless thoughts, worries, regrets, overthinking, loop like a song you can't turn off. You close your eyes, but all you feel is heaviness, as if your brain no longer remembers how to rest. Or the opposite happens, you sleep too much. 10 hours, 12, even more, yet still wake up feeling empty, drained. Not because your body needs more sleep, but because your mind is trying to escape reality. You use sleep like a thick blanket to cover the life you no longer want to face. And worst of all, you wake up in the middle of the night, gripped by an unease you can't name. Your heart is racing. Your body feels cold. You look around your familiar room, but feel like a stranger in a foreign world. No sound. No one there. Just you, and an invisible wave of anxiety wrapping itself around you. Fire when depression starts to take hold, sleep, once your safe space, can become a gateway to deeper distress. Thought balloon, gentle, reflective tone. If you're feeling this way, please don't brush it off as normal. Your body is speaking for your mind, saying, "I'm tired." Not just physically, but emotionally. 4. You start withdrawing from connection even when you don't want to. Depression doesn't always arrive in a loud breakdown. Sometimes, it starts with a missed message, a skipped call, or hesitating to answer, "How have you been?" You still care about the people around you. You still miss your friends. You're not angry at anyone. But strangely, you just don't have the energy to show up. Every conversation feels like a challenge. Every reply, an effort. Even thinking about responding to a simple message wears you out. Then slowly, you start to pull away. Not because you're busy. Not because you forgot. But because connection, something that once brought you joy, now feels too heavy to carry. You feel yourself drifting, even though no one's pushing you away. And the loneliness grows deeper, because you know you're isolating. Worse still, you notice it. You feel guilty about it. But instead of reaching out, you retreat further, afraid that if you spoke your truth, you'd become a burden. So you lock yourself in an invisible room, where no one hears your voice, no one sees you slowly disappearing. Brain, this isn't you changing. This is depression quietly pulling you away from what you need most, connection. Crescent moon, soft, empathetic close. If you feel yourself slipping away from people, please don't blame yourself. You're not cold. You're just tired. So tired you can't even form words. And sometimes, just one person noticing that is the first step back. 5. You feel worthless even when there's no reason. Have you ever felt this? It's a perfectly normal day. Nothing bad happened. No one criticized you. You did your job. You were kind. You didn't mess anything up. And still, there's a voice inside that says, "I'm not good enough. I'm useless. I'm a burden." It's not true, but it's loud. No one's saying these things to you. But somehow, you believe them. And worse, you begin to live as if they're facts. Depression has a quiet but cruel trick. It distorts how you see yourself. It magnifies your smallest flaws, erases your strengths, and sticks harsh labels on your forehead. Not enough. Failure. Unlovable. You might be someone incredibly capable. Someone who's always there for others. Someone kind, sincere, and strong in ways others admire. But when depression silently creeps in, you can no longer see your own light. You live in a version of yourself painted in shadow. And the harshest truth is, you don't need a reason to feel this way. You just feel like you shouldn't exist. Candle, a closing full of compassion and hope. If you feel worthless, please understand this. That is not you speaking. That is depression speaking through you. And the most dangerous part isn't believing those thoughts, it's not realizing you're wounded. You are not useless. You are tired. You are not worthless. You're just looking at yourself through a cracked mirror. Speech balloon, and sometimes, all it takes is someone reminding you. You deserve to heal. That alone is enough for the light to start finding its way back in. If you recognize yourself in any of these signs, please, don't blame yourself. Don't force yourself to be okay. And above all, don't suffer in silence. Depression is not weakness. It's a cry for help, lost in the noise of everyday life. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be supported. And you deserve a life where you feel whole, valued, and truly connected. Speech balloon, share this video if you think someone might need it right now. And remember, you are not alone.